and welcome to Firstpost Live, where we bring you the day's top 4 stories from across the world. I am Gursheen Garland, live from the Firstpost studios. Let's begin with the headlines. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky heads to London for talks with European leaders after US President Donald Trump accuses him of ignoring a US peace plan. Nepal's anti-graft body opens a major probe into alleged corruption at Pokhara International Airport, a $216 million project built by a Chinese firm. The United Kingdom unveils new undersea defense technology to protect its cables and pipelines amid rising Russian submarine activity. Benin's president says the country is fully under control after loyalist forces backed by Nigeria stop a military coup attempt. And McLaren's Lando Norris clinches his maiden Formula One championship, beating Red Bull's Max Verstappen by just 2 points after a third-place finish at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Let's begin with India. Indigo's flight disruption has now entered its 7th straight day, and the numbers are staggering. Over 450 flights were cancelled today alone, adding to more than 2,000 cancellations reported since last week. The airline continues to grapple with cascading operational issues across major metros. Delhi Airport issued an advisory today asking passengers to check real-time flight updates before leaving home, as the capital recorded over 100 cancellations. Bengaluru reported 127 cancellations and Hyderabad grounded more than 70 flights. The disruption is being fueled by multiple factors. The new flight duty time limit, or FDTL rules, which set how long pilots can fly and how much rest they must get, crew shortages, changing weather, the holiday marriage travel rush, and technical snags. Together, these pressures have pushed Indigo into one of its toughest operational phases in years. Despite the turbulence, Indigo said it has restored around 95% of its network, with flights ramping up from 700 on Saturday to over 1,500 by Sunday evening. The airline maintains that it expects operations to stabilize by December 10 as schedules gradually return to normal. Meanwhile, the Indian government said Indigo has processed around $73 million in refunds for cancelled or heavily delayed flights after being directed to clear all pending payments by Sunday 8 p.m. Passengers whose travel was disrupted are also allowed to reschedule without any additional fees, and dedicated support cells have been set up to fast-track refunds and rebooking. The government has also ordered Indigo to trace and deliver all misplaced baggage within 48 hours. While the DGCA appealed to pilots and associations to extend full cooperation.
DGCA के माध्यम से हमने इमीडिएटली एक्शन ली है। सबसे पहले तो 4 लोगों की एक जांच समिति हमने अपॉइंट करी है। उसके बाद 24/7 एक कंट्रोल रूम तैयार किया गया है। ये सब पहले जैसी सेवा शुरू हो, इसलिए FDTL का जो आदेश था उसको फरवरी 2026 तक हमने स्थगित कर दिया है।
The Directorate General of Civil Aviation said on Sunday that it has granted Indigo CEO a short extension to submit the airline's response to the show cause notice issued a day earlier over the massive disruptions in operations. Indigo has been given time till 6 p.m. on Monday to file its reply after the regulator observed several non-compliances. In a message to staff, Indigo's CEO said the airline is getting back step by step.
Earlier measures of the last few days regrettably have proven not to be enough. So we've decided today for a reboot of all our systems and schedules, resulting in the highest number of cancellations so far, but imperative for progressive improvements starting as from tomorrow. With these actions, we expect tomorrow to have cancellations below 1,000. The support of DGCA in providing specific FDTL implementation relief is of great help.
While Indigo battled the disruptions, competitors were quick to step in. SpiceJet subtly took a dig on X, posting a photo caption, "The calm in chaos." As Indigo works to fully normalize its schedule, regulators continue to monitor the situation closely. Passengers, meanwhile, are hoping the airline's promised December 10 recovery finally brings this week-long disruption to an end, because ultimately, travelers need certainty, not reassurances. Our next story is about an escalating crisis along the Thailand-Cambodia border, where a fragile ceasefire has collapsed and fighting has erupted once again. Thailand has launched airstrikes after both countries accused each other of violating a truce that had been holding since July. On Monday, Thai officials said that Cambodian troops opened fire across multiple locations, killing one Thai soldier and wounding 4 others. Cambodia countered by saying that Thai forces attacked its troops in neighboring provinces in northwestern Cambodia.
Early this morning, there were clashes in many areas until the break of dawn. The fighting intensified from around 5 a.m. onwards. Cambodia used big and small firearms and various supportive weapons, causing a number of casualties among our soldiers in Chong Bak, and we found evidence that Cambodia has expanded the clashes to several new locations this morning.
And in response, Thailand said it used aircraft to strike Cambodian military positions to quote-unquote suppress attacks.
As for the airstrikes by the Thai Air Force, I would like to reiterate that it is a targeted attack on Cambodia weaponry bases only, damage to which we are able to limit, in order to prevent further escalation from Cambodia that would cause further injuries and deaths of Thai troops.
Earlier on Sunday, Thailand reported a 35-minute gun battle with Cambodian forces in Sisaket, ordering evacuations across 4 border provinces. The Thai army also says it has spotted Cambodian T-55 tanks moving in Samrong, a city just 20 kilometers from the disputed border zone. Thailand also accused Cambodia of deploying drones, using machine guns and firing grenades at key Thai positions, further claiming that Cambodian troops are launching BM-21 multiple rocket systems towards civilian areas. The Thai Defence Ministry confirmed that more than 35,000 people have been moved to shelters, with many more leaving border villages.
Our intelligence found that Cambodia has increased its troops and weapons, as well as other supportive firearms. It also found that Cambodia has the tendency to use long-range weapons in the inner area, covering areas near the Buriram airport and near hospitals in Prasat district. Those areas are about 30 kilometers from the Thai-Cambodia border.
Cambodia, however, denied these allegations, saying that Thailand initiated Monday's attacks and its troops have not returned fire. Issuing a sharp warning, Cambodia urged Thailand to stop what it calls hostile actions that could undermine regional peace.
In the above incidents, Cambodian forces have not yet responded, adhering strictly to the respect and implementation of the ceasefire and the joint statement on the peace agreement between Cambodia and Thailand, including the principles agreed upon between the Cambodian and Thai sides, based on the principle of resolving all issues peacefully, fairly, and in accordance with international law. The Ministry of National Defense of the Kingdom of Cambodia strongly condemns this inhuman and brutal act.
This fresh violence comes months after a sharp escalation in July, when clashes left dozens dead on both sides. A ceasefire was reached days later after Malaysia brokered talks and US President Donald Trump threatened to suspend trade negotiations if the fighting continued. Then in October, Trump traveled to the ASEAN summit in Malaysia to witness the signing of a joint peace declaration, calling it a monumental step for the region. But just 2 weeks after that ceremonial signing, Thailand paused its part of the agreement after 2 of its soldiers were wounded by a landmine near the border. Now regional players are also weighing in. Malaysian Prime Minister has called for peace and offered to support diplomatic efforts on X to prevent a deeper conflict, adding that the region cannot afford to see historic border disputes spiral again. The Thai-Cambodian border has been a point of tension for more than a century, rooted in colonial-era maps and a long-running dispute over land around the ancient Previ Hir temple, even after a 1962 international court ruling in Cambodia's favor. The issue has never fully been settled. With latest airstrikes in play and both armies digging in, The Thailand-Cambodia border remains on a knife's edge, and the coming hours will decide whether this escalation ends here or spirals into something far more dangerous. Shifting focus to East Asia, Japan says Chinese fighter jets twice locked fire control radar on its F-15 warplanes. Japan's Defense Ministry said that the incidents happened on December 6th over international waters southeast of Okinawa. According to Tokyo, 2 Chinese J-15s allegedly directed fire control radar at the Japanese fighters, forcing them to take evasive action. To put it simply, locking fire control radar isn't a warning, but it signals a potential attack and is one of the most escalatory signals an aircraft can send. Tokyo called the alleged Chinese move dangerous and beyond what's necessary for safe flight. In response to this incident, Japan has hauled in China's ambassador and lodged a strong protest. Tokyo is demanding steps to prevent a repeat of such an incident. Prime Minister Takaichi said Japan will act calmly and resolutely to this incident. Tokyo has accused China of endangering pilots and raising the risk of miscalculation.
China's radar lock-on was a dangerous act exceeding the scope necessary for the safe flight of aircraft, and it is extremely regrettable that such an incident occurred. We strongly protested to the Chinese side, and we have sternly demanded that it not recur. We will respond calmly and resolutely.
China, meanwhile, is pushing back sharply. The Chinese Navy said Japan's account is completely inconsistent with the facts. Beijing claims the Japanese jets were the ones disrupting a pre-announced carrier training mission near the Miyako Strait, a waterway claimed by both sides. Japan has refuted the Chinese claim, calling it unfounded.
We have been informed that the Self-Defense Forces aircraft maintained a safe distance while performing its mission to counter airspace violation. Therefore, the Chinese side's claim that the SDF aircraft seriously impeded the safe flight of the Chinese aircraft is unfounded.
Now, following the fighter jet incident, Japan tracked the Chinese warship mission in the international waters near its Okinawa Islands. Tokyo said the Chinese warship, in a high-tempo display, launched around 100 takeoffs and landings. All this comes weeks after Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi said Tokyo may act if Chinese moves against Taiwan threaten Japanese security, a comment that has infuriated Beijing since.
The current situation in China-Japan relations is entirely caused by Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's erroneous remarks over Taiwan. Japan should abide by its political commitments to China, retract its erroneous remarks, and reflect and correct with concrete actions. Any external force that dares to interfere in Taiwan-related matters will be met with resolute countermeasures.
As Japan pushes back diplomatically against Chinese moves, its partners are stepping in too. Australia's Deputy Prime Minister and Defence Minister Richard Marles, who was visiting Japan when the fighter jet incident happened, weighed in. He said Canberra is deeply concerned and will stand with Tokyo to uphold the rules-based order.
The events last night are concerning. And Australia has also experienced concerning events in interactions with the PLA. And we will continue to stand with Japan in working with Japan to assert the rules-based order in this region, and we will do it resolutely.
From radar locks to carrier maneuvers, Japan and China tensions now enter a sharper, more combustible phase. And beneath it all lies the self-ruled island of Taiwan, whose future status is steering every calculation in the region. Our final story is from Paris. The Louvre Museum is once again under scrutiny. The museum revealed that late November water leak has damaged several hundred items. These items were in the museum's Egyptian department. Museum officials stated to a media outlet that between 300 to 400 works were affected when water seeped through the ceiling of the Moulin wing of November 26. According to the museum's deputy administrator, the damaged items consist largely of Egyptology journals and scientific documentation. These items date back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries. While the materials are quote-unquote extremely useful to researchers, officials stress that they are by no means unique. And crucially, no heritage artifacts or replaceable objects were harmed. Earlier assessments suggest that none of the affected collections face irreparable or definitive loss. The museum confirmed that the November leak was caused by the accidental opening of a valve in an absolute heating and ventilation system that had been shut down for months. The system is finally due for replacement in September 2026. The news of the Louvre water leak comes barely months after the daring daytime heist in October. A 4-member gang made off with jewelry worth an estimated $102 million in a 7-minute smash and grab before speeding away on scooters. The audacity of the theft, carried out in broad daylight, sparked intense debate about the robustness of the museum's aging infrastructure. In the meantime, the museum stated that the soaked documents will be dried, restored by a bookbinder, and eventually returned to the shelves. The Louvre has already begun preparing for major structural upgrades. In late November, it announced a significant ticket price increase for most non-EU visitors, including those from the US, the UK and China, who will now pay around $37 for entry. It was previously about $22. The move got mixed reaction from tourists.
No, I wouldn't say necessarily fair in that respect. I think it should be raised for everyone on an equal platform. I don't really know the reasoning behind that logic for non-Europeans, but I mean I do support the charges being raised to help preserve the buildings. But obviously, I think it should be fair.
First, I think the ticket price it's a fair price, 22 euros right now. I think it's a very good price. I'm here with my family, and if you go to a restaurant, like any plate is worth like 25 euros. So going inside to such a lovely and famous place, I think it's a fair price. Going up to I think 30 euros, 32 euros. I think if it's gonna be for the maintenance of the museum and everything, I think it's a fair price.
The museum says the 45% price hike is expected to boost annual revenue by up to $23 million, helping to fund long-delayed improvements. Despite its challenges, the Louvre continues to draw immense crowds. In 2024, it welcomed 8.7 million visitors, nearly 70% from them abroad. As investigations into the leak get underway, the museum's leadership faces growing pressure. That is showing the strain of both time and soaring tourist demand. That's all for today. Thank you for joining us. I am Gushin Galan and we'll see you right back here at the same time. Until then, stay informed and stay tuned to Firstpost.